Nice opinion. Just one tiny problem with it. Inspecting your post, it looks like your opinion is different from mine. Let me tell you something. I am the baseline for opinions. Any opinion I hold is objectively correct, and as a result, any other opinions are wrong. Guess what? You happen to hold a wrong one. I hope you know that your opinion is now illegal. I have contacted the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Navy SEALs, Secret Service, and your mom. You'll be sorry you ever shared your opinions. By the time you're reading this, you'll be done for. Nature will punish you. Humanity will punish you. Supernatural beings will punish you. Space will punish you. We decided just to make sure we'll nuke your house from orbit, so there's no chance you can run away. Everyone will know you will die. It's a small price to pay to remove your wrong opinion from this world. Nice opinion. Just one.
All right, welcome back to another live stream. If anyone's watching the rewatch, if they're liking, subscribing, yada yada yada. But let's get back to more VShojo stuff as usual. All the stuff I talk about will be in the description at the end. So let's get to it.
We gotta let the mouse and her lawyer cook. And we're going to talk about that today on The Legal Mind, where we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a fast facts video giving you the quick and dirty, the latest in legal news. In this case, VTuber news related to VShojo and Iron Mouse. And in this video, which we're going to review today, will take a little bit longer than a normal fast facts, but still be pretty brief. We're going to go over exactly what I said, which is give everyone time. And Iron Mouse perhaps needs the most time of all, considering she is at the center of this. She's
the main victim, so to speak, because she was with a disability. They stole $500,000 from her, so she's the main issue.
Got things to deal with, like NDAs, potential labor law to get litigation, civil litigation, even getting involved in criminal investigations related to the charity side of this. So as every creator deserves patience, deserves trust, and deserves your time and respect and space. Iron Mouse, perhaps most of all, is in the very, very frustrating position of being at the head of this, but perhaps being able to say the very least. So without taking any further time here, let's turn to the mouse herself and see what she had to say in this stream, where she was reacting to the Vebe tweet and also talking about kind of the situation. Well, let's let her take it from here.
Goodness.
These three states are quietly middleman and the big companies.
And I'm taking my time with reconnecting with people.
I think that every streamer that.
Thank you very much. I'm taking it very slow with getting to talk to people again.
Bumping this chat message.
Silence, TTS. I paused TTS. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for wanting me to talk to people, and I appreciate the fact that you guys just want us to all heal and reconnect and stuff. I'm going to be taking my time with things, but please do not pressure me to do anything. But don't worry. I am working on things, and I'm doing things at my own pace.
So one thing you guys got to realize when she's saying here is working on her own pace is that it's not just working on her own pace, but it's also what can she say even to other people. So this is another thing too, with like reconnecting with people and working with people. If there's any litigation component to that, if there's anything that could be a potential, NDA breach or disclosure breach, she's got to be very careful as well. So there's a lot of things she's got to take her time. She's got to trust her lawyer, and she's got to do it at her own speed. So you guys have to understand that, like, while the sentiment is great, you have to let them do it when they can do it and not rush. Legal process does not happen overnight. Even if you're reaching a settlement, it's not something you reach in the blink of an eye. It's not something you get right away. It's something that takes time. So you have to understand that while you might want, in a perfect world, you'd have, a million collaborations and you'd all get together and chit chat about things. there's certain things you got to be careful about, particularly as it relates to legal strategy. So I'll let this play here.
Things at my own pace. You know, it's a lot. I think like just like everything that's been going on, processing everything has been extremely difficult. And you know, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough not just for me. It's tough for everybody involved. You know, so give people time. Give people time. But I did read Vay's tweet, and that was holy Jesus.
I mean, I completely agree with this one. This tweet was a freaking bombshell. And when I saw this tweet, and I've reacted to this when you guys can,
Yeah, that tweet is yikes.
hear me talking about that on previous streams. Wow. And I am pretty sure that she consulted with a lawyer before dropping that, because I mean, this was an absolute bombshell. And this was just yeah, that was my instant reaction to seeing this. And I'm sure most of you who read that had the same instant reaction.
Holy Jesus.
It's long.
Man. Yeah, she popped off. Like, man, that she has balls. She's a giga chad. Like, no joke.
Indeed.
Yes, you could tell she was waiting to say something for a while, and I'm glad that she got to say what she had to say. I'm really glad she got to say what she wanted to say. I feel like there are just so many people that just wanted to say stuff, but so many people were trapped behind NDAs and stuff, trapped behind crazy paperwork.
Yeah, and mostly the crazy paperwork are the crazy NDAs. And NDAs can be different. They can be different for each person. But the from what we know and what we've been disclosed, these NDAs are ridiculous. These NDAs are sometimes way beyond what they should be asking to keep confidential or keep hidden. So because of that, people have been very, very afraid to talk about it. And even with the company defunct, even with the company out of money, it still is a situation where they're thinking, okay, wait, can we really do this? Because even in this position, is Gun Run going to come out here and use his personal funds to try to defend these? Like, what's going to go on? So people are still gun shy about it. And Bebe, hopefully in consultation with a lawyer, got to the point where she said, you know what, I'm willing to put this out here. I'm willing to take this shot, which is commendable. But once again, understand that not everybody is in the same position. So while Vebe may be in a position to do that, or she may be advised to have done that, not every talent is in the same position to do that. So just because one can do it does not mean all of them can do it at the same time.
And could not speak. A lot of I'm trying to dance around things to not like outright say stuff, because unfortunately I am as much as I would like to say everything, I can't, because I'm in the middle of like I have a lawyer and I'm in the middle of like a legal thing going on.
A legal thing going on. A legal thing going on. Excuse me. There's probably a lot of legal things going on right now with Iron Mouse. So yes, she cannot say anything about this. And please do not push her. Let her lawyer cook. Let her lawyer get the goods. Because
Yeah, I agree. Don't push her, because after all, this is massive and also probably stressful and legal and just in general.
End of this, the payoff will be worth it. She eventually will be able to say so much more, perhaps everything. Perhaps she's going to be able to tell the whole story. It's possible there could be certain things that there's a settlement, etc., that aren't talked about. However, it's very likely she's able to tell a pretty complete story by the end of this saga.
So I can't really be as outspoken as everybody else, which is killing me, which pains me a lot, because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. And there have been things that I have seen. I have seen some things. One particular thing that is frustrating to me that I really want to talk about, but I can't. And it's like I'm trying to like word this in a way where it's just like a way hope my lawyer doesn't get mad at me.
No, don't do it. Don't
No, no.
do it.
Does
Don't
it
say
involve the talent? I will say there are some staff members that were amazing. There are some staff members that were wonderful. And that
This is a huge hint right now. If there's some that are wonderful, what are the others?
We know what the others are. The others are not wonderful. They're actually probably less than wonderful. Is the
Hint, hint.
tried their best. They tried their best. They tried their best. There were some staff members that truly had the feelings and thoughts of the talent in their hearts and truly wanted to fix things and make things work.
So
and
good.
Some that did not understand the full picture of what was going on because, unfortunately,
unfortunately, they were terrible people that stole a lot of money.
a lot of people that were being misled and misinformation being relayed. One of, I will just say that the biggest thing that, if I could say one thing that was the biggest problem, it would be communication. Because there was no
I think that's fair to say. And I think she can say that without too much giving away too much. But you got to be very careful because you can't say names, you can't absolve people yet. You can't call people out and say this specific person is great and this specific person is not, because we don't know yet. There's more investigation that might go in. Maybe some of the people, as we've seen, we saw certain tweets out, by people that were involved at the executive level, right? The extent they say, oh, bro, this is Gun Run's fault. It's all Gun Run's fault. Oh, hold on a second, buddy. You're copied on the memo, right? You're copied on the memo. So there's going to be people that have said, oh, no, it's not me, not it. And after some investigation, it might turn out that it indeed was them and they indeed had a problem, despite them saying, oh, no, it wasn't me. So we don't know yet, but I do believe in her entirely. I do believe Mouse entirely that some people were amazing. Of course, you work at any company, even the most evil corporation can have nice people. They can have a great, nice, kind secretary, right? They can have a great mailroom clerk. They can have certain people, even certain executives that are great people. And there can be people that are absolutely horrible and people that cause massive liability for the company.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And it was almost as if communication
Allegedly, she says.
was frowned upon, allegedly. In Minecraft. You know how
You should be very careful. The Minecraft defense does not always work, Mounds. You got to be careful with Minecraft.
sometimes you're at a party
What do you mean? The Minecraft defense always works. Flawless, never.
and you want to talk to your friends, but then someone at the party is like, hey, you shouldn't tell your friends these things. So don't talk to your friends about this. And you're at that Minecraft party allegedly.
This is sounding like a pretty interesting Minecraft party. Was that Minecraft party held in San Francisco, California?
Was it by any chance?
Perhaps was the headquarters there?
I hate those types of parties. You know what I mean? Anyway. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. I'm really trying, y'all. Anyway, I am well aware. It sucks. It sucks because it's I see people commenting on everything and making videos and talking about stuff. But it's there's just so much that people just don't understand.
Yep.
And I can't talk about it really. And I'm I can't really I shouldn't really talk about what I want to talk about because I can't give full context. So it's my lawyer's sweating. My lawyer's sweating. No. Legal mindset understands. Does he?
There we go. Yes. We get it on legal mindset.
Legal mindset.
I get it. You guys get it. We all know that she's got to wait and we know what's going on there. Now, we don't know, right? We don't know the details. The only people that know the details are Iron Mouse and her lawyer. But what I'm telling you right now, and take this to the bank, is she is looking at a multitude of things, right? She's got to look at the NDAs. She's got to look at the civil claims. She's got to look at the charity fraud issues, right? We've got to look at if there's going to be any criminal prosecution. So you've got all these considerations, and she's got to do that with her lawyer, and only her and her lawyer are the only ones that know the full picture. And you have to let them and give them time to work this out. And then once they work it out, then we're going to be able to talk about it publicly. But got to calm down.
Does he understand?
I got you.
Yeah, it's like as much as I want to say we are free now, we're all free, we're indie, we're free, we're free, we're free.
Not yet.
I think the other girls are more free than me because I'm the one that put out the video and the one that like started.
That is true. That kind of exploded by doing that. Not that that was bad, just that's what happens.
Stuff.
Yes. So if anything comes back, so in terms of counterclaims, right? So let's say, they're going to try to counter against her, right? Or, go after her for the initial breach. So saying, hey, look, we could go after everybody. We're going to counter against Mouse. We're going to do some sort of counterclaim against her because of, the breach of NDA, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. The pressure is on her, both in terms of, attacking and even potentially defending or having to defend against, any sort of counters they might throw at her. So yes, most of the pressure is on her. And certainly because of the root of the charity funds and because the charity funds were coming from her, that's something that specifically relates to her and not necessarily every other streamer. And because that is high on her consideration list and getting the money to the IDF, which, by the way, Immune Deficiency Foundation, right? That is extremely important for
Not the military.
For her. So she has to take those considerations above and beyond the considerations of the other creators. And that's something that is a little bit unique to Iron Mouse.
Hey, bro, this game is packed with so many characters it'll make your head spin. And you haven't tried it yet? Man, you're seriously missing out.
So I'm not as free as everybody else, and I'm not as free as I'd like to be. I think the only person who understands is my lawyer.
100% agree with
Yes, the lawyer understands
this. The only person who you got to trust is your own personal lawyer. And I'm not her lawyer. I don't represent Iron Mouse, which is why I can talk more freely about these things. Because once again, if you have attorney-client privilege, you have to keep this stuff secret. You can't talk about it, and you couldn't do anything to ruin her trial strategy. And I would, of course, never do that. Even if I had information, I would never do that to harm any sort of talent. But that's something they need to keep secret because you don't want to give away the moves. If they've got certain moves they're going to make or certain things they're going to play or certain actions they're going to take, they need to keep those close to the vest in their personal legal strategy. And she needs to tell absolutely no one other than her lawyer.
But, we'll get there in time, I think. In time, we will. My main concern is that there's just going to be stuff that I can't talk about. And I stress to my lawyer that, like, my biggest thing is wanting to just talk about stuff, which is important to me. And the charity. Number 1 was charity. Number 2 were the girls in Kuro. And number 3 was to talk about stuff.
And so she'll get all those things. So those priorities will be met. So she will eventually be able to satisfy, helping the others, right? That'll definitely happen at some point, right? It'll be helping the charity. That's going to happen at another point. Being able to talk about it, that's eventually going to happen, right? And then, of course, which she leaves because, Mouse is pretty selfless in this herself at the end here, saying, hey, also there's me and the fact I haven't been paid for a while. That's the thing out there too, right? But she'll get to those things. She will get to all those things in time.
Eventually she will, yeah.
Oh yeah, always myself, always last. It's just who I am, honestly. it's like I said.
And that's why everybody absolutely loves her. So guys, once again, let Mouse and her lawyer cook, give them the time and patience to be able to go through this process properly. The legal battle is not won in a day or an hour. It is something that takes time. It's something that moves slowly, but we all know in the end, Mouse and her lawyer, with the assistance of her lawyer, are going to prevail in this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
On that, no time for Vitaly.
You can choose.
So here we go.
Vitaly Zorovatsky may be freed soon, according to certain rumors that have been circulating. We're going to be talking about today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living over here in Asia, and this is where we teach you to, once again, be your own judge. So this is an update that I was really debating whether or not to do, and I thought this is an excellent chance, a perfect chance to talk about not just Vitaly, but Vitaly will be the main topic, but about multicultural boundaries, which are reflected in the law, and how at the end of the day, the most important thing when it comes to people that cross those boundaries, that go across those lines, is to make things right with that culture and those people. So we're going to talk about that today on this Fast Facts version of my videos. Of course, Fast Facts are a quick and short, dirty version of all of the latest of legal news. If you enjoy this format, if you like these shorter videos, these brief videos, please make sure to smash the like button. And after you listen to the whole video, make sure to leave a comment below on what you think. I do read those comments, and I genuinely care about what you guys have to say about these issues and what you think of my takes on these issues. So let's jump right into it. Of course, as always, I have a lovely, lovely PowerPoint on the Vitaly update.
As per usual.
As of today, August 7th, 2025. So what's going on right now? Why am I giving this update? Well, right now, the status is he has been charged, or he was indicted on 3 charges of unjust vexation, 3 counts of unjust vexation. Now, in my previous videos, we've gone over what that is in terms of a criminal violation in the Philippines, which can carry some time and some criminal punishment. And he's still currently in the Philippines. He's still currently behind bars. He's not free to go as of yet. However, and I put many asterisks on this, there has been some unconfirmed speculation, some rumors that have not been confirmed by any official channels, that some witnesses may not testify in his trial and some charges may be dropped. Now, I want to say this over and over again. This is unofficial, and I did not want to report on this initially because typically I like to rely on official sources. I like to look at what is coming out from the government, the official news agencies. What do we know and what we don't know? What some random influencer, TikToker, YouTuber has to say might be speculation, it might be drama, it might not be true. We don't actually know what's going to go on. We don't actually know what's going to happen until we see some official statements, some comments that we can verify and back up. So while I am going to talk about this, I want you all, for the time being, to take it with a pinch of salt and really use it for a broader reflection on what's going on with Vitaly. But one of the reasons why I tried to look at this, and I thought about this really, really closely and deeply, was looking at the last photo of Vitaly, the photo that's actually the thumbnail photo today. Now, it is not a high quality photo, but if you look very closely, and once again, it's a grainy photo, but I spent some time looking at the photo and looking at the face of this man, Vitaly. And one question I have had, and one question I have with really all the content creators who come to Asia, particularly, or come anywhere, and they cross multicultural boundaries, which often ends up in violating the law, is, are they truly and deeply repentant for what they have done? Have they gotten to a point?
The answer is most of the time, from what I've seen and what I think, based on the content creator and the person they are, it started with Jake Paul. So I don't think there is any remorse or apology actually in meaning it at all. Yeah, I don't think so.
Where they realize the folly in their actions and they are truly and deeply sorry about that. And they have made things right with that culture. And that's one thing I'm going to say over and over again. I am just a small legal YouTube content creator. My opinion is really, as much as I like to communicate and educate and I enjoy it and I understand multicultural boundaries because number one, I live abroad and I've traveled to over 100 countries and understand their cultures very, very, very deeply, at least as deeply as I can with the best of my time and abilities. I am not the ultimate judge here, right? It's not just be your own judge. It's the judge of those countries and of those people. And those people have to look at their justice systems, have to look at their culture and say, have we gotten to a point where we are okay that this person is rehabilitated? And when I look at the face of this man, I cannot tell. I am not sure one way or another. I'm not convinced one way or another, but I do open up the possibility that Vitaly may be on the road to rehabilitation. And there may be a possibility, my mind is open to the possibility that this man has realized the folly of his actions, is genuinely repentant, and may actually be on that road. It is possible. Once again, I'm not saying whether this is true or false. That may not be true or not true. I don't know. I don't have enough information. But I just look at that and I think about that. And we've talked about on this channel justice being served. We've talked about restorative versus retributive justice. And I explained to you guys a difference in those systems, right? Restorative, focusing on, making it right and restoring that person and the people harmed. Retributive, saying, hey, look, this is a systematic harm. There needs to be some sort of punishment. But both systems, they have commonalities. We focused in the past on the differences. But the commonalities in those systems are looking at the needs of the persons harmed. Which in this case is not just the needs of the individual, but because they're content creators, particularly Vitaly, it's the needs of the country, of the Filipino people, Filipinas, Filipinos, the whole country, all Pinoys, right? They all were indeed harmed by these actions. And that's something that I think, if you really think deeply about this, is at the root of the problem here. Once again, the laws are an enshrinement of the culture, which is a reflection of the people. And that's something that people need to really deeply understand. And the focus on both of the systems, whether retributive, restorative, whatever, and every country has their own balance of these systems, is on healing, support, and accountability. That's healing for the victims, support for those people that were harmed, and accountability with the person who was committing those violations, right? So in this case, Vitaly, right? So, has Vitaly been held accountable? Like, are we at that point? And it varies based on country and culture. It varies based on that culture, which is reflected in those local laws. And to be honest, and to be very frank with you guys, once again, I try to be as objective as possible, as fair as possible, as educational as possible, and to be objective, to be truly objective and put my personal feelings aside, everything else. It is difficult to judge as an outside observer. I'm not on the inside on this. I'm not one of the victims. I'm not a Filipino, a Filipino citizen. So it's difficult for me to judge that as an outside.
Yeah, looking outside, it's a bit harder to judge things on that than us native or someone who actually is affected.
Observer. And what we want to see is we want to see people get to their Shawshank moment. I've talked about this moment, right? If you've seen the Shawshank Redemption, it's the point at which Andy escapes from the prison and he's got the water washing over him. It's a catharsis. It's a healing. It's a, giving up the past and a moving in the future. And whether or not someone has reached this point is very difficult to tell.
I will say that's actually a good point. That's actually a good movie. And actually this scene in the movie is actually really good.
As an outside observer looking at social media, because we cannot judge people's internal mental or emotional states. We do not have that capacity right now as human beings to do that. And because we cannot,
only one person can really judge how someone feels in their heart, per se, depending what you believe, of course.
Do that, we all have our conceptions of whether or not somebody is been, done their proper time or done their proper restoration or not. But I want to talk about this in a context, in a broader multicultural context, because I think it will make it more clear. So when I look at cultural boundaries, I look at people that are good and respectful of those boundaries and people that have crossed those boundaries clearly. And on this channel, one thing I, dedicate myself to is to when people cross these boundaries, particularly with the law, as someone who really deeply personally respects these boundaries. It hurts me genuinely.
It honestly does hurt me more. I mean, kind of also makes me mad because it's like these people could also cause, to a point, this much problem to a point to where Japan, Korea, these other countries straight out just reject any tourism anymore. I mean, obviously they love tourism; it helps their country. In general, probably won't directly take it all together, but there could a point where they actually just maybe reject tourism and close themselves off again, like they did, which honestly would make it worse.
I feel it like inside of me because I know these boundaries. I live in a country full time. So when I see foreigners crossing these boundaries, whether it's here in Thailand, in Korea, in Japan, the Philippines, countries I lived in. I lived in Korea, lived in Philippines. I've spent a lot of time in Japan. Of course, I live in Thailand. It hurts me. It genuinely hurts me to see people crossing these boundaries. When I see somebody doing this, that is a pain.
Again, it's also worth mentioning. This is like going to someone else's home and messing up their house. Like you go to someone's house, it's like someone else's country. You go to their house, you play by the rules of that house. Same applies to a country. You go to another country, or maybe even a different state, or depending where you live, depending a different city or part of the country, also different rules as well. So same thing, go to a different country, they play with different rules than your own. It's about respecting that country and its rules, and these people do not respect the country or the rules altogether.
Painful for me. And I know that I'm not even a citizen. I'm not even a national. So people that live in these countries are even more deeply hurt than I am. If I, with only my limited knowledge, feel this way, certainly people feel way worse than I do. People are far more harmed than I am with these particular boundaries that have been crossed. And there's also many expats over here, many people living abroad that feel the same way. They contact me all the time, send me emails, DMs, etc., and tell me, hey, man, I'm right with you. I totally understand where you're coming from. I got it. And what I want to highlight is, a lot of times people call the good content creation non-tent. I've heard it all the time, non-tent, non-tent, non-tent. But there are massive content creators that make so much money and they are so profitable, so successful, and they don't cross those lines. Or if they do, they apologize. They make it right with the people in a real way, not a fake apology.
Yeah, there are some cases where some messed up, actually generally apologized, and it was fine, or some that never did, anything. There is the case of the ones climbing on the Sakura cheese, and they got major hate, especially one of them, but they apologized and it was fine afterwards.
In a real way, and they go back and they're accepted and they move on and they grow. So let me talk about that a little bit. So for example, Korean Englishmen, that's a very good one. I learned that one when I was in Korea. So many Korean people love Korean Englishmen. There's some foreigners that
I've watched Korean Englishmen. They're pretty good.
Do great, wholesome content in Korea, very family friendly, and they're loved, right? And they're on that positive side. Then on the other side, you got Johnny Somali, who obviously, without
contest at all, probably the most hated person in all of Asia.
Doesn't need to be said, has violated multiple cultural.
And he isn't just Korea. He was in Japan and Israel as well. Crossed those boundaries as well. Again, I've said this multiple times. I'm generally surprised he was in Israel, survived Israel. But given the time he was during war, when I think the war just started or stuff, he was either at a cause he might die or just did not care enough. They just sent him away. He's banned from Japan in 5 years, and Korea is probably going to be in jail for at least 5 or 10. We'll see.
And legal boundaries in Korea. But, if you look at Korean Englishmen, they're not without their controversy. In fact, Korean Englishmen, which is a very successful channel, I'll link all these positive channels. I'll link all the positive channels in the description below so you can check them all out, see their content, see that I'm not making this up. You can Google all this yourself. They crossed a line during COVID. During COVID, they violated Korean social norms by going out during quarantine, violating the quarantine procedures, which once again are Korean culture, the Korean law, right? I was in Korea during COVID. I followed all the rules during COVID. Did I like it? No. Did I object to it in my mind as an American? Did I say, wow, this is really, I don't like to do this? Yes. But with my actions, did I respect them? Yes, I did.
That's the difference. You might not agree with it, but also you're in, again, a different country. Respect their laws and how they operate.
Korean Englishmen, they did cross a line. They violated that, and they had a controversy over that. What did they do? Well, they didn't say, well, screw you, Korea. I don't need to know. I don't need to do anything for you. I'm not Korean. I can just do whatever I want to do. No, that's not what they did. What they did was they said, we are so sorry. And to make up for it, we are not just going to apologize, but we are going to go on hiatus. This channel has millions of followers. Going on hiatus is giving up so much money. They probably lost 6, maybe even 7 figures of revenue.
Going on a hiatus also can kill your YouTube algorithm. Like, if they weren't this big, if they went on a hiatus, there's a chance they could have just completely crushed that themselves. So that's a big risk.
Because they decided to go on hiatus due to this mess up. So they literally were saying, hey, we're going to sacrifice our money, our revenue, because we feel truly sorry. And now they're back at it. Now they're creating content. And once again, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes.
Who is perfect?
There is a way to come back. You've got Mark Vine over here in Thailand. Now, this guy's done almost nothing wrong. He's absolutely a good being, right? Who literally has never said anything negative in his life. Super positive, super successful channel, right? And then you've got on the other side, Ice Poseidon, right? Who clearly violated mores and laws.
A lot of, yeah.
In Thailand and was dealt with, appropriately by Thailand, right? So once again, you've got a bad and a good side. You can choose which side to be on. You've got John Dobb, a guy I have a lot of respect for, only in Japan. And then you've got DBR, the kick streamer who threw a snowball and had to flee out of Japan because he had people pressing charges against him. Once again, 2 sides of the coin. You can choose to be the John Dobb or be the DBR, right? You can choose to do the respectful thing to acknowledge that culture, go the other way. So let's get to Vitaly and Philippines. You've got Vitaly. Obviously, look, even his most valiant supporters, even the people that support Vitaly, I want you to listen to me. We can all acknowledge that he crossed a cultural boundary. He crossed boundaries that should not be crossed. And along with those cultural boundaries came laws that were indeed violated. And now...
Okay, Nagrano, what? You know what my name is. Goodness gracious. What? You can't read? Is that what? Are you telling me you can't read now? Is that the liquid's over here? Okay, you can't read now. Got it. Okay. I don't believe you're dyslexic at all. I don't believe that at all. I have a hard time believing you're dyslexic. I sincerely doubt that, but boy. What am I, boy? Yeah, okay. You're dyslexic. Sure. Is that why you accidentally ban people? Is that it? Okay.
At this point, he needs to ask himself, has he done what's right? Has he moved in the
No.
direction of people like my good friend Eric Cabrera, who is an absolutely a great guy. He's a solid guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He loves the Philippines. He loves the locals. Is he moving to become more like Eric? And Eric, by the way, is the guy who confronted him, the guy who got up in his face. And a lot of people think that getting up in people's face or confronting people or calling people out is simply because you want clout, is simply because you want money or something else. That's not
I mean, depends the person, but not necessarily.
what it is. What it is we want to see people like me and Eric, we both want to see people make it right. And if people truly make it right, if they truly do the right thing, if they truly are accepted by the people as having corrected the problem, then I can say I am comfortable with that. And Eric, and I'm not going to speak fully for him, I'm sure that he would be of a similar mind to me. What we want to see is not you making it right for me. Once again, my opinion ultimately doesn't matter. It's the opinion of the Filipino people. So the question is, and my question to kind of round this out is, has Vitaly made it right with the Filipino people? Can he make it right for the Filipino people? That's the question. That's the challenge. I want to know what you guys think about that, and I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, actually, this is another VShojo thing from Henya yesterday. This is her Japanese version, and here's the English version, which she states, "Hello, everyone. These last few weeks have been very stressful, and a lot have been going on behind the scenes. Unfortunately, I can now confirm that VShojo will not be fulfilling any of the outstanding merge orders for my community. I am truly heartbroken. Naturally so. VShojo collected all the money from sales and pre-orders of my merch, but misused the funds without my knowledge or consent. To be clear, I wasn't paid for any of these sales. Someone pre-ordered merch wasn't even manufactured at all. If any of your orders for my merch haven't been fulfilled, I encourage you to speak with your credit card provider and about a chargeback. Other talents may have been able to make different arrangement with VShojo. So please also check the talents announcements to any unfulfilled merch stores. I'm deeply sorry that this has happened, and hope that you understand that this was all a terrible surprise to me too. I had no idea that any of this was going on, but by the time I was made aware, it was already too late. Order fulfillment has already been stopped. There was nothing I could do about getting them to fulfill, and I didn't have enough time to fix anything. Instead, I did everything I could to get VShojo to make a statement to you all about the unfulfilled merch orders, and they still haven't said anything publicly. Imagine my shock with that one. I couldn't let that continue. I have always cherished your support. And I hope you still continue to support me in the adventures ahead. To show my appreciation, I'm planning to send a digital content to everyone whose order wasn't fulfilled. I'll announce more details about this soon. Thank you, Henya the Cheese." So not only did they, steal $500,000, they also weren't. No one got paid for the merch that they were supposed to be sending out as well. Oh, here, that's a good meme right there.
Lizard, 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 lizard. Lizard, 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 lizard.
So yeah, it's a mess in its entirety. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, how worse can you possibly? Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, this is the Japanese one. Like, I don't understand how you could mess it up this bad. Like, I just, yeah, I don't understand. Oh, how do you keep getting worse and worse? Like, I found out also last week that apparently the company tried to also dox their own talents. Like, they try to show their real faces. I'm like, you're telling me you're trying to dox the people that are under your company? What are you doing? And I mean, they still have. Okay, let's check the shop right now. Store, nothing. This is all I get from the store at this point. It's just nothing. There's nothing there. The site just doesn't exist anymore. Gosh. Apparently, like, okay, first stealing $500,000, then basically trying to have the talents fight against each other, then have trying to basically take away the anonymity of the talents by showing their faces and trying to dox them and not paying. Some have to pay their own stuff with their own wallet and money. Then you have this, which like the merch isn't even being sold and not paying any for it. Paying the people that did their own merch and stuff and not paying it. Like, how worse can you get? I mean, one of them said that they hadn't been paid since last September, which it's like that's all in a month. That's almost a year. So you hadn't been paid in almost a year. It's like what, almost 11, 10 months. I just don't get it. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else about my merch. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I would say. Like, thank you for Daiho. Yeah, like, y- and you thought, Ninjisani was bad, which they're still bad, but they're not basically on the verge of bankrupt bad, I guess. I, yeah. It's like, imagine my shock telling me, oh, this company from freaking California that stole $500,000 somehow it decided to go insane and lose everyone that was under them and not not pay their talents, which are basically employees. They treat them as employees, not pay them for almost a year, try to dox them, try to make them compete with each other, tell one that they're a disappointment for getting harassed, even though one of their other people under your company also supported said harassment of people playing a certain Harry Potter game, and then a charity that one of your talents has, I mean, a charity which you were actually at, and there's a picture of you at there, gun run. And also of a disability that the one of your talents has, you stole the money of the charity of the disability she has, and then all this. It could have been avoided if you were just honest and said we're running out of money. But I guess not. Who would have thought a company from California would do this? Who would have thought? Especially San Francisco, to be specific. Yeah, weird. I mean, on the bright side, I guess, them having the good bright side is, they still own their avatars. That's the only bright side, but yeah. So basically, CLDR is she manufactured all the pre-orders and orders for the merch is not going to be met, and VShojo is not going to pay them at all, pay anyone for having any of the merch. Yeah. I don't get it. Give me 1 second. I should be able to find this real quick. Actually, it might not be quick, but yeah, just when you thought it could get worse, somehow it does. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm just trying to find something real quick. Oh, wait, actually. Let's read what is it the one? They? Oh, here's a big here we go. I found it. What they said is actually real bad. Okay. Found it. Okay, so here we go. So NDRs are now void. What when did she say this? She said this back on July 4th, but I think I didn't read this, but there we go. Well, I left VShojo back in 2023. VShojo tried to bully me into one of the most predatory contracts that I've ever seen. When I tried to ask more about it, their CEO got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any of my questions. And so I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification, which she probably talked to the lawyer before she sent this massive tweet out. During the talks, it became clear that VShojo would rather let me go than take less away from me. They were ultimately wanting to give up more than half of all of my sponsor revenue and over 60% of all merch sales. All I asked from them in return is to not take a cut of the sponsors that I was getting through Mythic. As that cut was already being taken, they said no, they wanted it all. So I asked to leave after being treated like I was disposable in our talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer and that they're the reason for my success, that I owe them and that I should be happy to give them money. You don't owe anyone anything, and if they're employers, they should have the employee treatment, not because they're treated as part-time contractors. In order for me to leave, they just demanded I sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any of the other talent about it. I could not say why I was leaving. I could not say why the terms that I was saying no were. I even got in trouble for advertising them to hire their own attorneys. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and then threaten to sue me if I said anything that hinted towards how I really felt about the company. I was threatened with a lawsuit. Another one of their leave terms was that they will announce both me and Silver on the same day in order to minimize the damage to their company. Also, Silver was harassed for playing Hogwarts Legacy, and they said you're a disappointment and a inconvenience to the company, basically. And one other talent also supported anyone getting harassed, so that didn't help. The CEO began to push a narrative on 4chan. Yes, I'm serious. And other social media that I am leaving because I plan to join OTK and that both me and Silvervale are troublemakers. So they were letting us go. Later, I found out that Nienas wanted to leave around the same time due to also being unhappy with the contract, but was told that she couldn't leave because it did not fit their narrative that they were pushing internally and externally. Lovely. The amount of hate we've gotten over leaving, from fans calling us greedy bitches to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing aside the company because we're successful enough, shit was fucking painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. I only found out that I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I had already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back. Fully to add insult to injury, they also demanded I had to pay them back $10,000 for some of the anniversary assets, which when they sent me back months later were all half finished. So it's not even half. So it's not even full. Despite all that, I've had the immense faith that the company uh, but the company has gotten better over the past 2 years. I assume they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them seeing all the new talent join. Clearly, that is not the case. Now, for some facts. Their company lawyer has an expired lawyer license. He literally does not practice law anymore, yet he was our point of contract for any legal help we needed. So, Lee, he's not a lawyer then, if his lawyer license was expired. They're actively pitting us against one another during my time there, and compared our success to others, they tried enforcing streaming schedules so that our view count would look better due to less overlap. So basically, they're pulling the Asian parent comparison. Why you know better than your cousin Jimmy? Your cousin Jimmy has 10,000 viewers and you have 33. Yeah, they're pulling that. They would always crap talk other agencies. They probably paid for the crap up on Whole Live. They would literally spend company money to get a tiny dig at them, specifically Whole Live. Yep, there we go. It literally lived rent-free in Gunner's head. They were convinced Whole Live was over when they signed case on Nazuna. Our previous talent manager, got ghosted 6 months by Gunrun. Oh, ghosting, that's not great. Told not to do any work for us and got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any assistance. MTD got reprimanded for being creepy to us. Lol. Got told not to message us privately. Go figure. I have proof from other streamers attending their IRL parties that MTD would actively crap talk me after I left the company to paint me in the worst light imaginable. Don't know why you're acting innocent on Twitter, pretending you weren't aware of anything. Can't wait to see all the crap that comes out about you when there's loads. But those aren't my stories to tell. Thanks for reading it, and thanks for those who stuck around between then and now, and thank you for giving me Silver, Neon, and the benefit of the doubt when I needed it most. Yeah, just also Justin claims to not know for the purpose of the funds, but he personally created the Iron Mask on the competition of her charity fundraiser event and reposted Ludwig directly mentioning that half the funds would go to charity. Yeah. Lovely. That said, rest in pieces, VShojo forever and evermore. That said, that's the end of the stream. Unless there's a big bombshell, specifically MADEIN or another VShojo or Korea related incident happens. On Friday, I might make a video on Friday, depending what happens. But until then, I will see you. I will see you Monday on my either MADEIN video or otherwise. Until then, see you next time. Like the video, like the stream, subscribe if you like the things I talk about on and comment your thoughts on VShojo or Vitaly, yada yada. So yeah, like the stream and stuff. That said, I'll see you later. Bye.
Welcome to the Blizzard Arena.
And the quest for a champion begins today.
The anticipation has been building, and it is finally time. We are live.
Are you ready?
Is it really?
Can you get over the roof there?
Oh my!
Oh my! What a play! What a grab!
Another jump here on the high ground. Super goes forward, but gets stuck up. The EMP comes in, and ding! He rains down hell from above. Here comes Pine. Gets one, gets two. Looking for a bit more. Gets another one.
Tuno's down again. That heralds disaster generally for the Fusion, and Carpe wasn't far behind. Prophet! He's killed 4 players now on his own.
From Vancouver, locks him in the sound barrier. Sound.
It's a huge bomb coming from John. Oh my God! He does it again.
Flutter now moving onto the Widowmaker, taking the clutch into his own hands. The headshot after headshot after headshot.
Okay, I like this for the Gladiators. We're going to try and circle around. I'm going to call this the merry-go-round because it makes me laugh. Makes me happy, and Sean Paul switches to the Widowmaker at just the right time.
Oh, the Gravy!
Best Tracy in the world.
Oh my word!
I mean, you could have told me that you spoke English, honestly.
The fans never thought they'd see this day. It took 43 matches. Feels like a really emotional moment here.
Sorry.
All right. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.